Welcome to Araverse. Like and subscribe for more stories that reveal the true history and enduring spirit of human endeavor. The tapestry of time had woven its threads far past the age of Adam, in lands nestled between great rivers, where life once flowed with purity, a shadow had fallen. Humanity, blessed with longevity and abundance, used its gifts not for gratitude, but for the elevation of mere objects. This was the era of the Bani Rāsib, the children of heedlessness. Pious ancestors were memorialized through carved images: Wad, So, Yagith, Yak, and Nasr. These began as tributes but evolved into objects of worship. The concept of a singular creator was lost beneath these false deities. Wealth, power, and social standing became linked to their veneration, forging a society stratified by privilege and spiritual decay. Into this world, an Ibn Lamech was called by the Almighty. He was a simple, honest man, a carpenter by trade, known for his integrity and profound devotion. His call to prophecy was not an easy ascent to power, but an immersion into a crucible of endless struggle. The command came with uncompromising clarity and was to warn his people. He was to remind them of Todd, the oneness of God, and to call them away from the worship of created things. En began his mission with gentleness and tireless patience. For 950 years, En walked among his people, his voice a solitary echo in the markets and lavish halls. He used every method of persuasion. "O my people," he would implore, "worship God. You have no God other than Him. I fear for you the torment of a terrible day." His message was met not with repentance, but with ridicule. The wealthy elite feared the radical simplicity of his message, which threatened their unjust social order. "We see you as nothing but a human being like ourselves," they scoffed. "And we see that none follow you except the lowest and most simple-minded among us." The cycle of rejection was relentless. People covered their ears, clutched their clothes, and mocked his simplicity and the humble poverty of his few followers. The number of believers remained painfully small, perhaps only 80 souls, drawn from the marginalized, slaves, and the poor. Enes' patience was immense, but persecution became severe. They accused him of being a sorcerer, a liar, and a madman. His call to faith was met with a demand for material proof. "Bring upon us what you threaten, if you should be among the truthful." For 9 centuries, En endured this resistance. He had exhausted every avenue of human persuasion. Finally, the prophet turned away from humanity and addressed the Creator. "My Lord, they have disobeyed me and followed him whose wealth and children will not increase him except in loss. They have committed a monstrous arrogance. They have said, 'Do not abandon your gods. Do not abandon Wad, or So, or Yagith, Yak, and Nasr.'" The final plea was not one of vengeance, but of necessary justice, a request for the removal of an irredeemable corruption. En accepted the tragic truth. This generation was beyond redemption. The divine response was a profound severance. "None of your people will believe except those who have already believed." The age of preaching was over. The age of action was about to begin. The command that followed was unlike any prophecy before. "Construct the ark under our observation and by our inspiration." En, the tired preacher, was now called to be a master shipwright. The ark was to be a gigantic, multi-decked floating sanctuary, a mobile miniature world designed to house his followers and specimens of every living creature. The exact dimensions were colossal, engineered to survive an apocalyptic deluge. It was a project far exceeding the technology of Enes' time, requiring divine instruction at every step. En obediently gathered his small band of believers and began the monumental labor. They were to build this enormous wooden vessel far inland, on dry, stable ground. The construction site quickly became the central hub of their persecution. People gathered daily to ridicule the old man and his followers. "O En, what is this madness? You were a prophet, and now you are a carpenter? Have you gone completely insane? Where will you sail this vessel, old man? The sea is leagues away. Are you intending to tow it across the desert?" En and his believers, exhausted by the labor, met the ridicule with a serene, unshakable faith. When scoffers demanded an explanation, En would reply with a tranquil, knowing smile, echoing the divine promise. "If you ridicule us, Then we will ridicule you just as you ridicule us, and you will soon know upon whom will descend a punishment that will disgrace him." The work was long, arduous, and meticulous. Every joint had to be perfect, every seam sealed with pitch and resin to make it impervious to the unimaginable force of the coming waters. The ark was to have 3 main levels, the lowest for wild animals, the middle for livestock and foodstuffs, and the highest for human passengers and birds. The faithful worked in quiet, determined shifts, sustained by the certainty of the divine word. This period was the final, agonizing test of their devotion. The most difficult challenge was Enes' own son, Can, who refused to believe. He clung to the social world of his scoffing peers, choosing worldly status over eternal truth. This was a private, excruciating sorrow for En, watching his own flesh and blood choose destruction. Finally, after years of monumental effort, the ark was complete. The signal for action was clear and unmistakable, the day when the oven boiled over. A violent rush of water erupted from the earth, and immediately began the unprecedented task of gathering the ark's living cargo. The command was specific: carry into the ark 2 of every kind, a pair, male and female. The harmony among the creatures, the wild beast lying docilely beside the vulnerable prey, was the first great miracle of the coming age. Once the animals were aboard, the final, wrenching moment arrived, the call to the unbelieving population, and made one last, desperate appeal. Come aboard in the name of God, for it is He who causes it to sail and to anchor. My Lord is forgiving and merciful. Among the hesitating crowd was Enes' son, Can. En saw him and called out, his voice torn between the prophet's duty and the father's love. "O my son, come aboard with us and do not be with the disbelievers." Can's reply was a final, damning rejection. "I will take refuge on a mountain that will protect me from the water." There is no protector today from the decree of God, except for whom He grants mercy. En cried out, but before the words were fully spoken, a massive, towering wave swept Can away. En sealed the doors, completing the division between the saved and the condemned. The rain began, a relentless, sky-shattering torrent for 40 days and 40 nights. The skies opened, and the very crust of the earth fractured. The waters from below erupted, meeting the deluge from above. The water rose with terrifying speed. The ark was lifted from the ground, no longer resting on the dry earth of the wicked, and began its terrifying, solitary voyage upon the face of the deep. Inside the ark, a surreal peace prevailed amidst the chaos. It became a sanctuary governed by a new law, coexistence through faith. The central challenge was the maintenance of order and life. The people managed the complex ecosystem, feeding and caring for every species. The focus of the flood was not merely punishment, but a spiritual cleansing. Outside, the voices of the idolaters were silenced forever by the crushing weight of the water. Midway through the voyage, En, consumed by grief for his son, questioned the divine justice. "My Lord, indeed my son is of my family, and indeed your promise is true." The divine reply was immediate and sobering. "O En, indeed he is not of your family. He is one whose work was unrighteous." The connection of family was irrelevant compared to faith. The ark continued its lonely journey. For an unknown number of days, it was the only sign of human existence on a watery planet. It was a powerful physical metaphor for faith, a small, fragile vessel of truth, sailing confidently through the vast, dark ocean of doubt and destruction. Finally, the waters began to recede. The divine command was given: "O earth, swallow your water, and O sky, withhold your rain." The ark, battered but intact, came to rest with a gentle finality upon Mount Judy, a high, solitary peak. The doors were opened to a new world. The sight that greeted them was one of absolute, pristine silence. The land was washed clean, the skies brilliant, and a profound stillness lay over the landscape. En and his family, the small core of believers, and the entire assembly of rescued life disembarked. The first act was one of profound humility and gratitude. En established a place of worship and offered thanks. The covenant was renewed. Humanity was given a fresh start, tasked once more with fulfilling the original purpose of creation. The Lord promised in, "Go down with peace from us and blessings upon you and upon nations descending from those with you." The survivors of the ark were the new seeds of humanity. Under NS guidance, they began the arduous process of establishing a new, righteous society. The children of N became the progenitors of the post-flood world, and their dispersal is often charted by tradition, Sam, and with Macronim, and Japheth. The world was once again unified under Todd, and for a period, the human family lived in peace. N lived out the rest of his very long life as the second father of humanity. The story of N is not merely a tale of a boat. It is a profound lesson in the dynamics of faith, persistence, and justice. The test of persistence. NS 950 years of preaching established the prophetic standard of tireless effort. The nature of family, the rejection by his own son, Can, cemented the principle that faith is not inherited, it is chosen. The power of action. The ark itself is the symbol of active faith. When words failed, action, the difficult, ridiculed construction, became the ultimate testament to the truth. The Great Flood remains a central pillar of human spiritual heritage, a universal memory reflected in myths and histories across the globe. The image of the ark, a haven of truth, sailing safely amidst the destruction of falsehood, endures as an eternal symbol of salvation and the preservation of righteousness. NS legacy is the gift of a clean slate. The waters washed away arrogance, idolatry, and injustice, allowing humanity to begin anew with the stark knowledge that disobedience carries a terminal price. The prophet N is the ultimate figure of perseverance, the man who built a future world with his own hands while the present world mocked him. He is the testament to the power of one individual's faith. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Araverse for more fascinating stories in history.